So Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota has been basically going around and putting on a masterclass in terms of how to win elections, how to fight with the right effectively, how to message properly. And I'm going to get to those videos in just a second. Now, of course, the big story right now is who is Kamala Harris going to pick for VP? And in the past few days, I've seen a couple of different reports about who has made the final cut, who's still in consideration. Now, according to one report, Tim Walz is one of the three finalists, right? It's like him, Josh Shapiro, and Mark Kelly. That's one report. But now there's a different report that doesn't have Walz in, in the final cut. I think it has like Cooper, Shapiro, and it might be Bashir instead of Mark Kelly. So there's a couple different reports out there. Honestly, I don't know what to make of it. We did learn that the Trump campaign in particular was good at throwing people off the scent of who they were going to pick. There'd be all these leaks, but the leaks would be like not true or half true, and everybody got a different taste of who they thought it would be, and you make predictions based off that. But they kind of like hid it, right? They kind of hid who was really one of the finalists and who ended up getting picked. So that very well could be happening now as well with Kamala. There's really no way of knowing until she makes the pick. Now, the reason I support Tim Walz, as I've already told you guys before, is on policy. He's the best Democratic governor in the country, and it's not even close. So just to give you the refresher, and this is stuff I was saying before he was even in the conversation about being Kamala's VP. I was saying this stuff. You can go back and see the videos. I was saying this stuff years ago, that in Minnesota, he had a one-seat majority, and he got us universal free school meals, legal weed, carbon-free electricity by 2040, tax rebates for the working class up to $1,300 if you make under $150,000 a year, 12 weeks paid family leave, 12 weeks paid sick leave. He banned conversion therapy. He did red flag laws for guns, universal background checks for guns, automatic voter registration, free public college if you make under $80K a year, a ban on the PFAS, which are forever chemicals. He did a $2.2 billion increase in K-12 school funding, and he did sectoral bargaining for nursing home workers, which of course is going to raise wages massively. So by far and away, the best Democratic governor in the country. But, you look at this and you go, okay, his record's great, but, I mean, he's got to be charismatic. He's got to be good on camera if he's going to be VP or going to make it to higher office. Well, fear not. I think he's by far the best VP option on camera, too. So let's watch some of these videos here. He was doing the rounds. Let's start with this one where he's on CNN.
Why do you think she's so much more competitive in Minnesota than Joe Biden was?
Well, look, good morning, Jake. Thanks for having me. Look, there's a burst of energy out here. Joe Biden, we've heard it, delivered across the board on so many issues, but there's a new burst of energy. I was at a labor rally yesterday, and I've not seen anything like this for 15 years. And what you saw out in St. Cloud yesterday with Donald Trump and JD Vance is the same old nonsense, just talking points and denigrating folks. And I think she's more boosted because she's bringing a positive vision. Look, we care about what happens to your kids. We care about the environment. We care about job creation. So it's just a whole new vibe to the campaign. And I think these guys, there isn't going to be a pivot because they don't have any new plans. So this is what you're going to see. I think Minnesota always competitive, but we're certainly going to win.
So you've gotten some attention this week for calling Trump and Vance and Republicans in general weird. And I think that you're the one that set this tone. And there's this shift. The Harris campaign seems to be following your lead, echoing this language. Why do you think weird is a more effective attack line against Trump than what Democrats have been done previously, which is argue that he's an existential threat to democracy?
Yeah, and it's an observation on this, and being a school teacher, I see a lot of things. But my point on this is people kept talking about, look, Donald Trump is going to put women's lives at risk. That's 100% true. Donald Trump is potentially going to end constitutional liberties that we have, end voting. I do believe all those things are a real possibility, but it gives him way too much power. Listen to the guy. He's talking about Hannibal Lecter and shocking sharks and just whatever crazy thing pops into his mind. And I thought we just gave him way too much credit. And I think one of the things is when you just ratchet down some of the the scariness or whatever and just name it what it is. I got to tell you, Jake, my observation on this is, have you ever seen the guy laugh? That seems very weird to me that an adult can go through 6.5 years of being in the public eye. If he has laughed, it's at someone, not with someone. That is weird behavior. And I don't think you call it anything else. It is simply what we're observing.
Somebody said in a debate with him against JD Vance, he would play a great role of the disappointed father. Oh, he would run circles around JD Vance. JD Vance cannot handle this guy. Look, one of the reasons why he's such a phenomenal pick is because on his look alone, and by the way, he's the same age as Harris. I know he looks older, but he's the same age as Harris. On looks alone, he gives off moderate white guy vibes, which is, let's be clear, this is what the Kamala team is currently looking for, moderate white guys. Because simply because she's a black woman, she's going to be viewed by the right as radical. Her politics are radical. Now, by the way, it happens to not be true about Kamala. She's a centrist. But she's going to be viewed as radical. We saw this under Obama, right? Obama was a centrist, but he was viewed as, a far left radical communist because he was a black man, right? That's how the right viewed him. So they're thinking in a way, oh, we don't want to scare away the independents, the moderates, the people in the middle, the ones who are going to decide this election. So they're looking for a moderate white guy. Now, Tim Walz gives off the vibes of the moderate white guy, but his record is actually astonishing and phenomenal. It is a deeply progressive record. Now, by the way, we're going to get to it in a minute because it's brought up to him. Like, hey, they're going to call you a communist. They're going to call you a Marxist. They're going to say you're extreme. And then he has the perfect response to that argument. But first, I think let's go to this one. This is another one. I got a whole bunch of Tim Walz for you.
How are you going to build a water treatment plant in a town of 400 if you don't have a collective effort at it? So to tell you, they scream socialism. We just build roads and we build schools and we build prosperity into this. Their whole plan is to go backwards, to give tax cuts to the wealthy. And look, it was so surprising. These super successful Donald Trump who inherited $400 million and then proceeded to fail at everything. Middle America, you earn it, but you know what? You're not on your own. Neighbors help neighbors. And I will, this one bothers me. I heard you talking about punching back at the bullies. They see people less fortunate as scapegoats and punchlines for their jokes. We see them as neighbors. And I said it with my mom. My dad dies when my little brother's young. We're teenagers. We get Social Security survivor benefits. I'm all for pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. We didn't have any boots. Social Security was the boots, and we pulled ourselves up, and we paid that back. And I think JD Vance gets none of that. It's the aw shucks, I'm from here or whatever. So my hillbilly cousins did not go to Yale, but I'll tell you what they did. They contributed to our community, and they're proud of it.
Every time he opens his mouth, he just buries them, bro. He just absolutely buries them. Okay, so now here's my favorite one. All those clips were good, but this one is my favorite one. Here we go.
Of all her potential running mates, you might have the most progressive record as governor. I know you were more of a moderate when you were in the House, but you've legalized recreational marijuana, you passed universal background checks on guns, you expanded LGBTQ protections, you implemented tuition-free college for low-income Minnesotans, there's free breakfast and lunch for school kids. Do you think your record is an asset to the ticket, or would it risk fueling Trump's attacks as you being a big government liberal?
What a monster. Kids are eating and having full bellies so they can go learn. And women are making their own healthcare decisions. And we're a top 5 business state. And we also rank in the top 3 of happiness. Look, they're going to label whatever they're going to label. He's going to roll it out, mispronounce names, to try and make the case. The fact of the matter is, where you see the policies that Vice President Harris was a part of making, Democratic governors across the country executed those policies, and quality of life is higher, the economies are better, all of those things. Educational attainment is better. So yeah, my kids are going to eat here, and you're going to have a chance to go to college, and you're going to have an opportunity to live where we're working on reducing carbon emissions. Oh, and by the way, you're going to have personal incomes that are higher, and you're going to have health insurance. So if that's where they want to label me, I'm more than happy to take the label.
Oh, he's so good, bro. He's so good. Look, there's no other way to talk about this but down-to-earth leftism. This is what down-to-earth leftism looks like. Like, oh, really? It's going to be an attack line of theirs that we gave kids breakfast and lunch? Ooh, right? Like, bro, we want to fight on those grounds. Go ahead. You guys lean into kids should not be getting breakfast or lunch. Disgusting. You guys lean into that. We'll lean into the opposite position, and let's see how it goes. Let's see who ends up winning that war. Oh, it's so good. Guys, he's got to be the one. It's a win across the board. Like I said, he gives off moderate white guy vibes, and he has the best record of any governor in the country. And let's keep it real. Some others are very good on TV also, but Tim Walz is the best, and it's not even close. Right? Tim Walz is the best, and it's not even close. People were talking about Josh Shapiro. There's a video floating around right now on Twitter. I didn't pull it up for you guys, but you can check it out if you want to. They said, when people said Josh Shapiro sounded like a Jewish Obama, I had no idea how true that was. And then it's a video of a clip of him giving a speech, and it is, he literally just sounds exactly like Barack Obama. And it's kind of one of the pet peeves of mine right? That when a Democratic politician does that, because it shows they're just like latching on to an identity and riding that. And that makes me worried about them. It's one thing if you do it at the very beginning of your career for a year or something, you know, for having some training wheels, but eventually you got to take those training wheels off, dog. I do not like that. And of course, Josh Shapiro is for charter schools. Hate that. He's a turbo Zionist and compared pro-Palestine protesters to the KKK. Unacceptable, right? So there's other issues there, but he's sort of viewed as one of the best communicators in this conversation. But Tim Walz compared to him is just in another league. So God damn it, Kamala, make the right choice, bro. Make the right choice. It would be holding your base while expanding the coalition as well. This guy knows how to fight. And it's all going to depend on what she's looking for, right? If she's looking with familiarity, somebody that she knows really well, then she probably is going to go with like Cooper. If she's looking for, hey, I'm behind a little bit in a certain state and I want to win that state, she would probably go Mark Kelly of Arizona or Josh Shapiro for Pennsylvania, you know, because they really, really need to win Pennsylvania, and Josh Shapiro is the governor of Pennsylvania, and he's very popular there, so she might do that. But Minnesota, look, it's still on the board, even though Democrats are a little bit up there. It's still on the board, and so you'd hold down Minnesota. But also, I think a guy like Tim Walz would make it so you do win Pennsylvania as well. I don't think you'd lose Pennsylvania with Tim Walz. So anyway, phenomenal politician, just great all around, and I really hope Kamala makes the right decision. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.